Smoke some weed. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting a game so early in the season to make my Cowboys 40-0 game look like nothing. Like 70. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen a pro team score 70 points. I had their kicker on fucking my fantasy team. 10 points. And he kicked 0 field goals. So they got 10 touchdowns. Well, the dogs went out. That's unreal. 10 fucking touchdowns? Holy shit. Wow. Well, I will say, but, were they playing? Oh, you just talking about every week? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my kid was coughing. I had to do the quick, everything okay? Yeah, oh, Joe's coming. Um, yeah, and of course, this all happened the week I have Waddle on my fantasy, and he was out with concussion protocol. The week that his team puts up 70 fucking points. Oh yeah, he got. Yeah, I was gonna say, does 49ers do the Niners play the Dolphins regular season? Because if they don't, man,
About damn time. I'm
I mean,
kidding.
I called it. I called it.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
And you know what? My mic on stream has been muted this whole time. Boom.
Ah,
Incredible.
well, that's not a bad thing because all we were just talking about your Broncos game and how good the Dolphins looked.
Oh yeah, I
Honestly, I
think the
will give you
Dolphins
that,
just
Joe.
scored another touchdown. Can
Just,
you believe
Yeah,
that?
just now, right now.
Yeah, just now.
Oh,
Breaking news. Scored their 11th
Mostert.
touchdown of the
It was
fucking
Raheem.
game.
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. Wasn't even Tua that threw it. It was their backup quarterback.
That was their practice squad.
uh,
Well, okay. Episode number 28, Weed MLs. Fuck, man. I'm just having tech issues all day. But now my mic works. Hooray, 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 hooray. 2.0's here. Elwood's here. That's all we talked about so far. Basically, we're going to get into a bunch of stuff. Eagles rule, your team's drool. We were discussing how I was going over the stat line for like the punters, and your punter had like 5 punts for 237 yards and 3 inside the 20, some like Hall of Fame stat line of punts. And then the Dolphins had 1 punt for 48 yards. 10 extra points. You know, there were what is I was say I've never been a big believer in Sean Payton. I've said that a million times. I think he's trash. Way more Drew Brees than it was Sean Payton, and I'm not even that big of a Drew Brees fan because he's made some questionable comments and just seems kind of like an all around douche. Um, what is going on? Is it Wilson? Is it Payton? His post game comments were pretty shitty. He didn't sound that nice in his post game comments. He kind of sounded like an asshole.
I mean, I'm not trying to justify what he did, but if he just got 70 points hung up on you, like I'd probably be an asshole too. But I think it all has to start with him. Like I can't tell you exactly what's going on within the organization, but it all begins with the head coach. And I think what we saw on Sunday is just a prime example because the Broncos gave up. 100%, we gave up. We were not in that game at all for any part of the game. And that starts and ends with the head coach. Like, yeah, you can say our defense was bad. Our defense gave up 70 points. There's no denying that. But it's on Sean Payton to get those guys ready to play the game. And I just don't, he didn't do that. He didn't inspire his team. He didn't lead his team. He's like, all right, we're going to go out here and do this. And then you didn't do it. Well, oh, that's fucking bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like, take accountability, be like, yeah, I fucked up. I need to do better. I will be better. And got to attack next week. Like, that's what I want to see him do, but we don't see any of that. Like, no personal accountability. He's blaming Russ. Like, I did like when he called out Russ because Russ was doing all the corny, cheesy cheese ball stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's like take some damn accountability. Be like, yeah, we clearly weren't ready. Next week we'll be better and move on. But
I mean, what I was saying is injuries okay, but I don't think you can really blame it on the injury bug either. Like be losing by 50 that's wild. Like that's I've never we were saying when's the last time you saw something like that? And when my mic wasn't on, god damn it, I'm just a mess today. The greatest thing we've probably seen since the Rams back when they had Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, London Fletcher. Think about like that Super Bowl Kurt Warner run. That offense on Miami looks like that. So I don't think, but I think there's other offenses. Like I think you're going to have issues playing the Chargers if that's what your defense is going to play like. I mean, there's not enough talent on that team. You're going to have a hard time playing some of these teams. So you're going to lose at least 2 or 3 more games if they're marginally better than that. You're going to lose a couple games by 21 or more.
yeah,
easy. Like that. Like that's coming down the pipe. That's in the division. That's like you're in the I think the Rams are just as much in the market for Caleb Williams than anybody else. I don't know why nobody's talking about the fact the Broncos might be in the market for Caleb Williams if that's who they want to draft with the first round pick. That's totally
Who's he?
possible. He's the quarterback for USC.
Oh, yeah.
Or May, or you're in play for May out of North Carolina from the Tar Heels. You're in play for that. Like one of these guys, if you guys are good, because you could potentially end up with the top 3 pick. Do you have a first round pick this year?
We actually do, believe it or not. First time in a fucking decade. Well, no, it's first time since we got Russ, but it seems like so much longer. We could have had a top 5 pick last year. Just had to trade it away to get Mr. Fucking. And I'm going to stand at the 50-yard line with my eyes closed, holding a ball in front of me while there's photographers all around me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's frustrating. Well, so do you have anything else you want to add about that? Because I have like a sidebar that's related. But
I mean, there's talent on that team. I can see why other players have left to go to other teams in free agency or were willing to leave to go someplace else. And it's not just like, and being like, oh, well, I'm not going to give you a hometown. I wouldn't be giving the Broncos a hometown discount. Like, oh, oh man, I love playing with you guys. You're my favorite. You drafted me. I'm staying. You have had a lot of talent leave. Other issues, a lot of issues outside when it comes to John Elway. Is he shit-faced? Is he doing racist shit? I mean, I know, like, I don't want to get too much into it, allegedly, but I know, like, I know people who've seen him. He owns a large restaurant chain. Like, it's not like he's notoriously known for being a nice person or in the Denver area if you live in Denver. He's known for being, like, a drunk asshole. So whenever it's, he showed up to a meeting and an interview hammered, and when Brian Flores sued him, I was like, oh, that totally sounds believable. That doesn't sound made up. Like, at all. Like, he would get shit-faced in his own establishments. I mean, like, just hold up 2 fingers if you haven't heard this shit. Not just from me, because 2.0, you grew up out there. If he didn't win 2 Super Bowls, everybody would not want John Elway in that town. He'd be chased the fuck out of town. He's always been a dick, kind of. He's notoriously been an asshole. But we have people fleeing this organization, and it's not surprising. And at this rate, they need to really rethink about what they're doing. The Waltons, they own Walmart. Like, get your shit together.
And like, I think it really ended in 2015 after we won our Super Bowl. Because like before that, like, Broncos, we were a great team. Like people wanted to come to Denver, even when we weren't competing for Super Bowls. We were a great organization. We still have a great fan base, but people wanted to come to Denver. And that's when we had Pat Bowlen. Now that Pat Bowlen is gone, it's just been downhill ever since. And I wish the Bowlen kids could have figured it out and just gotten their shit together so the Bolins would still own the team instead of selling it to the Waltons. I don't know if they're the problem yet. We don't have a big enough sample size to determine kind of their impact on the team. But we do, I mean, like you were saying, John Elway fucked us up. Joe Ellis fucked us. And it's disappointing to see what the Broncos have like turned into. Like this once great franchise. I think before Peyton retired, we had like 3 seasons under 500 or something. It's not 3 seasons. But it's some like incredibly low number where we were
What
below.
year did
Where
y'all
we
lose
never.
Von Miller?
We traded him away the year the Rams won the Super Bowl. Because then we traded him to Los Angeles and he went and signed with Buffalo.
Yeah.
So,
But he got that
what,
Super
2 years
Bowl.
ago?
He's been pretty much hurt ever since.
Mm-hmm.
But still super talented. He was a funny person.
But so how Joe Ellis fucked us up, because fucked us over. So I guess him and the Shanahans have beef. Because like Mike Shanahan, for those who don't know, he was the head coach for the Broncos when John Elway was there. Incredible success as a head coach. Took us to multiple Super Bowls, won 2 of them back to back, yada, yada, yada. It's like he is an icon in Denver. The Shanahan name is iconic in Denver. But Joe Ellis had some sort of beef with Mike Shanahan. And like so much that like he just hated the entire Shanahan family. So that's why when Kyle Shanahan, after he went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons as their OC and whatnot, why the Broncos didn't hire him then. Mike McDaniel, who's the head coach for the Dolphins, Joe, because he was like associated with Josh. No, jeez, it's late. Because he was associated with Shanahan, Joe Ellis was like, "Oh no, like you're friends with the people that I hate. Like I'm not giving you an interview." So, and obviously, God, I'm blanking on the name. The head coach for the Dolphins, he's having great success,
Oh,
and
Mike
so I think this
McDaniel.
game, Mike McDaniel. Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, but like I think a lot of this game was like personal, but like, hey, like you should have given me a fucking interview. Like, fuck you for not. And it's all because of Joe Ellis that we didn't even give him an interview. And then you have the Vic Fangio thing where he was our head coach, kind of got screwed over. So it was a big revenge game for the Dolphins coming back to the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
We're just like at the top of our organization long story short, ever since Pat Bowlen has left, the Broncos have gone downhill to shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to see, and you hope that they're able to figure it out. But like I said, they're just as much in play for Caleb Williams than anybody right now. From what we saw on Sunday, and I know it's the Dolphins, and this, going to be historic offense, yada yada. I want to see them play a physical team, someone that's actually fucking physical. Right now, they're just running circles on people they should be beating, which is good. They're beating the teams that they should beat. But I want to see, like, whenever they come and play us, that'll be an interesting matchup for their defense. Their offense is fast. There's only so much you can really do. You got to kind of contain it and make the red zone really difficult for them. Red zone defense would be key in that game because they're going to get and move the ball between the 20s pretty easy. But when that field shortens, it's gonna take a team that can run the ball and that's big and physical and can control the clock. I think there's a couple teams like that exist. I think any of these big key NFC teams would potentially be a nightmare matchup, depending on, like in a Super Bowl, it could make it very difficult for them. For a team that likes to throw, you get a couple incompletions or something. If you have a good secondary or strong secondary like the Eagles, it could be tough for them. But the Broncos just really got to look. The Waltons should be looking at it like, okay, like we need to put somebody And they need to look top to bottom, like president of player personnel and operations. They need to look at every single position and like try to redo their overall take. And thoughts on someone asking us thoughts on Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams would be fucking great if he wound up on the Broncos. That'd be a game changer. He'd be chilling all day, blazing out. He'd be having a good time. He'd be relaxing. I mean, I lived there for a long time. Denver's fantastic. There's a lot to do. I think Caleb Williams will be successful in the NFL, but the Broncos would be. I mean, I could see them taking him if they had the first pick. I could also see y'all trading back and taking like May and somebody else and trying to get 2 first-round picks for somebody else to go up and get him. I could see that happening too.
I could. I hope George Patton is like, if we do have the first overall pick, I hope George Patton tries to rectify the shit show that was getting Russell Wilson by drafting Caleb Williams. Instead of trying to like wheel and deal and like turn it into something that's positive, because he doesn't have a very good track record of doing that so far. But I don't know. That's me personally.
Yeah. Well, other games, we had the Giants lose to the Niners. There you go. I just hate Brock Purdy. I know he's like good, and I actually like remember watching Brock Purdy when he played at Iowa State because he was playing against like OU or something. I was like, this kid's pretty good. Like he throws an accurate ball. He's kind of mean with it. But now
I forget who it was.
I just don't really like him. I'm just like, you're a wiener. So
I don't know if it was Devo or another, but that one corner of the end zone pass that he made, and he did it with about 3 dudes about to hit him, to where he kind of like I didn't even think he was gonna get the ball off, but he kind of like did this motion where he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm getting hit. So he kind of went limp a little bit and then released the ball, and it was the prettiest pass in the back of the corner of the end zone. I was just kind of like, holy shit.
No, I mean he's legit. Yeah. He's got the skills. I just don't like him. He just annoys me. He's like that kid like on the track team who's like just as fast as you, but you're like, oh, I hate this kid. And there's like you don't even really know why. It's not like he's a bad kid. There's something about him that annoys you. He's always like good at stuff.
I would think you would like him because him and Foles, the last quarterback to get y'all a Super Bowl, have a very similar, not 100% somewhere, but their whole kind of getting to where they're at as a starter is similar,
Yeah, but Foles
they came in non as the favorite.
Foles got led them to a Super Bowl and won it. He didn't get to the NFC Championship game and get an elbow injury. Chargers beat the Vikings. I fuck the Chargers. I'd say that all the time, but then they lost Mike Williams to an ACL injury. That's rough. We'll see. There's a lot of questionable calls, tons of penalties for them in this game as well. Vikings had an opportunity to win the game, and they just throw a fucking pick. Kirk Cousins, everybody's favorite quarterback dad, throws that pick where he should have been spiking the ball and, getting at least having 2 plays with some time on the clock, but chose to force it, threw it to Hawkinson, bounced up in the air, picked off. Vikings... What if the Vikings got Caleb Williams? See, that's a nightmare. See, but that's what I'm saying is that's or if the let's say the Vikings, and I don't think they're as bad as their record says they are right now. But let's say the Vikings somehow
because they're 0-3, right?
Yeah, if they have, let's say somehow they end up with that pick, I could see them trading. Like that's a team I could see the Bears or another team. What we just say, the Broncos, who have a pick on Caleb Williams and trade back with a team like Minnesota. Be like, all right, we got Jefferson, we got him. We can pay Jefferson, and we can pay whoever else the fuck we want because we got that all wrapped up. We won't have to pay him for 4 to 5 years, so we can put more pieces around him. We already got our defense is all right, but we can invest in our defense. That's like what the Eagles did, right? Or that's what you try to do is that's what they did with Russell Wilson in Seattle, win with a quarterback on a rookie deal. But and then Packers, Saints, Carr's out with an AC joint injury. Jameis Winston went in there, smoking Winston's famous Jameis. I hated him when he was in college. I thought he was just goofy, and now he's just like a spirit animal. He's just become this like person I always pull for. But Jordan Love and the Saints pull it up. Packers pull it off over the Saints. I turned this game off when it was like 17 to whatever. I was like, this is boring, and I switched it over to the Jets game. I literally turned that game off. It was annoying the fuck out of me. It was so boring, and I did not want the Saints to win, and they didn't, so that was good. Another game, Texans over the Jags, blew them the fuck out.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Pretty wild. I mean, the Texans lost the total yards. They did not rush as much. Yards per play was higher. But yeah, I mean, the Jags had 22 first downs. Texans had 15. But third down, they were 9 of 15, and the Jags were 5 of 13.
Ooh.
Yep. And then they also had interception, one interception, and one fumble lost. So so the Jags statistically won almost everything except for yards per play, but they even won the penalties, more time of possession, but they lost turnovers. They actually punted less. They had more plays. They were just less efficient on third down and had 2 turnovers, and they were just big chunk plays. Man, Tank Dell, just out there. Tank Dell is like a leading receiver right now in the league. On like the rookie out of Houston. He had 5 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown. He's lit in Madden, so if you use him in Madden, he's pretty good. I mean, 27 of 40 for 279 for Lawrence. If Lawrence is throwing it 40 times, that's rough. If you're throwing it 40 times and only put up 17 points, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
The Texans aren't even known for having a good rush defense, though. Like, I don't get why they needed to throw the ball 40 times. Like, yeah, they got down and you got to throw it to try and get back. Like, then you're making your offense one-dimensional.
I think they really were like, okay, we got this shit easy on lock. We're playing Houston. We got the rookie. Our defense is gonna show up. We want to go out there and keep establishing chemistry with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirkmore is like not our number one, but it's like our slot dude. Like I think they're really like tinkering with their offense, and they took their opponent for granted. And Stroud, he's an Ohio State quarterback, so the statistics show that he's not going to be good because none of them ever are. Any of them ever, they're never good. But he went out there and he's been preparing. He looked ready. He was making his reads, going through his progressions, and he showed why he was drafted where he was drafted. He was making some throws out there. And I think a lot of people dropped the ball on Tank Dell. That kid's just really good, really fast, good routes. But, they got, like, you could say like the Cowboys, but I don't think so. I think it was different because the Jags statistically, like, they won that game. They should have won that game. The pick, the fumble loss, they don't have those. But even if that attributed for 14 points, they still end up losing that game, right?
Yeah, no, because Cardinals dominated, I think, rushing yards for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We already did Broncos. Titans lose to the Browns.
Who cares?
Fuck Deshaun Watson. Bills smoked the Commanders, and I love me some Sam Howell, but he got lit through 4 picks. To help the Eagles take first place, it's still booing. Colts, goofy game. Minshew played his style game. Lamar Jackson had an okay game. He ran the ball well, 14 for 101, 2 tutties. 30 carries by Zach Moss, which is 30's a lot. You don't see that very often anymore. For 122, big catch by Pittman towards the end. Zay Flowers, 8 for 48. Those are good, but not that effective. There was a safety at one point where Minshew pulled an Orlovsky, stepped out the back of the end zone. 2 fumbles lost by the Ravens. Same amount of punts, gave up less sacks, but they were more efficient on third down, and they had 1 more first down, and they were almost a yard and a half better per play. They won that game, and that they lost time of possession, and they only had 1 penalty. The Ravens shouldn't have lost that game. They handed that game away. That's wild. I don't think the Ravens window for me is closed on them really being a contender when it comes to that. Pats, Jets, What's there to say? Jets are bad. Zach Wilson sucks. Obviously, if you saw it, there was a play where they were running for a first down and they had Mac Jones pushing the pile, and then it got a little rough because he kept running, and C.J. Mosley slammed him to the ground, like threw him down. When he got up, there's another angle. Whenever he gets up, Mac Jones grabs Sauce Gardner's dick, which is weird. And then so that if you watch that play, after he gets up, Sauce Gardner tosses him back down to the ground, like right next to the ref, and the ref doesn't do anything. There was no flag, no nothing, no nada. And everyone was like, whoa. And I was like, nah, man. When I saw that, I was like, fuck Mac Jones. Like, I can't stand that guy. He's a tool. And then there's a video comes out. Yeah, he's grabbing Sauce Gardner's dick. Like, grabs it, gets up, and is real close and like, cups his balls, man. So Sauce Gardner shoves his ass. And the ref's like, hey, and he's like, he grabbed mine. He's like, I know, I saw. He's a perv. That's wild. Grabbing whiners. Seahawks.
That's so weird.
Seahawks, Panthers. Oh.
In he
It's him.
comes.
The goodies here. Goody man. Miles Sanders sucks. Andy Dalton, good stat line, but I mean, we'll see. I think the Seahawks team is gonna continue to get better. They have a lot of young talent on their defense as well. They have two corners that are both within their first 3 years. When you think about it, with Wooten, what is he? This is his third year or his second year. They have Wooten, and then they drafted another corner this year. So I think that the Seahawks defense is only going to get better with time.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
I think they can make the playoffs as a wild card. I totally think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot. Like I said, I don't think the Vikings are as bad as their 0-3 record says they are. Just like I don't think, because the Panthers. Who's better, the Panthers or the Vikings? They're both 0-3. It's like like I would take a majority of the Vikings in any game versus whoever versus the Panthers. I mean, Thielen, 11 catches, 145, but Miles Sanders, 9 for 24 and a touchdown.
Well, dude, just because they're both 0-3 doesn't mean the Vikings don't deserve to be 0-3 because they're better than the Panthers. Like,
no, but I'm saying
they're still a shit team.
I'm saying I don't think they're as bad as their record says they are. I think
No, dude, they were like 11-0 in like one-score games last year. Now they're 0-3. That's what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. All I'm saying is I don't think that they're as bad. I don't think the Browns are as good as I think if you played the Browns are, their defense flies around, but on offense
it'd be historic.
They're way too inconsistent on offense.
Dude, they like I'm telling you, man, like they're like the Ravens defense, like from 2000s. As I heard somebody like talking about the stats.
Yeah, but they don't have a 2,000-yard rusher and Jamal Lewis on the other side of the field to help them win that Super Bowl.
But they got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's better than Trent Dilfer.
I mean, that's debatable. Trent Dilfer has got more playoff victories than Deshaun Watson does.
I'm just saying if he plays better. If he plays better. I'm not saying that he is better. But
no.
I mean, obviously better, but I mean, what are we talking about?
Well, no, but that's why, like it's whenever you have somebody running for 2,000 yards, it's like fuck all who your quarterback is at a certain point if you're riding that hot hand. But I mean, their defense is fantastic. I think their offense is too inconsistent. They're weak at the tight end position because you got to remember they also had a Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp on offense at tight end like that. Like they had people that were Hall of Fame caliber. They had Jonathan Ogden at left tackle, arguably one of like the top 3 greatest left tackles in the history of football, all on that team at once. So the defense got all the shine, but there were some dudes that got bust in Canton for being on the offense. But no, the Browns, I'm just saying, I don't think the Vikings are as bad as their record says they are. Kirk Cousins is above average for the NFL at quarterback. I think he is.
I mean, he's above average. He's above average if you put him on Dallas.
But I mean, I bet you that Dalvin Cook wishes he was still there, and I bet you they wish they kept Dalvin Cook. That's basically their running game is completely changed. Now you're making Kirk Cousins go out there and win games without having a good, complementary, consistent running game behind him. And they invested in
I don't know. I drafted Madison as a rookie, and he's been on my team ever since. So I've always thought he's just as good as Dalvin Cook. But we'll see.
Yeah, but Dalvin Cook's like got the clout and the credentials and the stat lines to be like, no, like at this point, like Dalvin Cook, well, he's older, but I bet you they just wish they kept him. That rotation's better with him in it than with him out of it. And now he's running the ball for Zach Wilson.
But they got Cam Akers now.
Yeah, so Cam Akers is a grinder, and we'll see what they can get out of Cam Akers. But he's more, while he can run the ball, he's also a good pass catcher. That's what I'm saying, is when they drafted Addison and they have Jefferson, they go get Hawkinson, they go and they get all of these pass catching weapons. They're really investing in the quarterback spot while not necessarily focusing on the running game, because the running game in Dalvin Cook has been so good that brings people in the box, creates one-on-ones for Jefferson, who's still balling, but it creates those mismatches where he can get big scores and big plays. And it's more difficult when everyone's just like watching the pass.
I think I saw, I don't know if he still is, but going into last week, Kirk Cousins was number one.
He's on pace to pass
football
for he's on pace to pass for 6,000 yards right now.
Crazy.
That's crazy. He's on pace to pass for or a shade under 6,000 yards because of his average. That's crazy. So it's like but they're just chucking the ball everywhere. That's all they can do is spread the field and chuck it, and that's not going to get you very far.
I mean, Madison had 94 yards rushing.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but how many rushes did he have? Let me look. He had 20. He had 20 for 93, but 32 of 50 for 367. 50 pass attempts is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot. I mean,
but 40's not, so it's not like it's not a shit ton.
No, but I mean, you have someone 7 for 149, but then 8 for 78. So Hawkinson, that's a bunch of first downs. 6 for 52, 1 for 36, 5 for 32, and those are to Mattson. So we're even giving Madison the ball in the pass. He had the fourth most catches at 5. It's just like they're really dinking and dunking. It's just the whole scheme just seems kind of goofy to me. It seems like they're running an offense that they're not necessarily equipped for. Or
their coach was the quarterback at San Diego State when I was at San Diego State.
Was he a douche?
O'Connell.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. Boom, bye, yay.
Boom. Bears, Chiefs. Terrible. Bears are terrible.
Yeah, I don't think
Justin Fields
I
is
think Bears
terrible.
might be one of the biggest disappointments this year to start, just because of how they ended last year, and then they were kind of on an up.
I thought that was the Cowboys.
Yeah. No.
Well, all right.
And they had potential, and Fields looked like he was improving. And yeah, I mean, goddamn, Kansas City. That was kind of made me feel better about the Cowboys game, of like us dominating the first 2 weeks and then totally shitting the bed last week. It was like, well, all of our beatdown juju got taken from Kansas City and the Dolphins earlier in that day, because that was just like I said, I wasn't expecting.
It made you feel better that you lost to the Cardinals because the Broncos lost?
Cardinals ain't bad.
Hold on. Wait, that's the next game we're talking about. In this Bears-Chiefs game, I just want to say one thing. I want to rant about it, and it's super stupid.
What, Taylor?
I don't give 2 fucks that this chick is at these football games. Every other games that we're talking about, it was honestly obnoxious. And that's not because I'm not like really that big of a fan of her music or whatever. It's super annoying. I was trying to watch the game, and they're like, oh, yeah. And it's like these creepy old dudes. Like,
it was a bad game. Who gives a shit? Like, you're trying to watch it? For what?
It's not just that. It's the fact that it was absolutely everywhere. Everywhere. They're like, oh,
That's the power of T Swift, dude. Just deal with it. Hate is going to hate.
Jason
Kelsey
and DeAndre Swift on that play. Hey, did you know that Travis Kelsey is fucking Taylor Swift? The Eagles got their own Swift.
I don't think he's fucking her.
You don't think? You think she's...
Oh, they are.
Dude, she's just good at publicity, man. Quit hating.
She's already writing songs.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nah, man. That's too much.
I thought she was an Eagles fan. What the fuck?
Also, that too. You can't just do that. Like,
bitch.
All of a sudden.
Switching brothers?
Yeah, literally switching brothers. Yeah.
Me hopping?
Isn't she
Who
from the
gives a shit?
South?
You're the one talking about it, dude. You're the one who brought it up. You love it.
No, because I'm watching.
You're gonna
What
probably put Taylor
sportsman?
Swift in the title of this episode to get the clicks.
No, I put it as Weedham L's.
You're gonna be like angry black quarterback, the Eras tour.
No, it's just annoying.
Oh,
I just don't want to listen to it all day. They're talking about it on Monday Night Football. You know, the other day Taylor Swift was at the football game. It's like, okay, she's been to football games before.
hey man, his jersey went up 400% in sales that day. Boom, get that money.
Oh, what's the cut they get off of their jersey sales? They get something.
I don't know.
2/3?
I heard it was 2/3.
That's pretty.
Sounds
sweet.
about right.
That's pretty tight. That's a good deal. That's a sweet deal.
Sure, that's
Probably
collectively
why the
bargained.
prices are up.
Oh
so
yeah,
damn high.
definitely collectively bargained.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't before. I'm sure
yeah,
they were just like
get outta
taking
here.
all the money,
They're
and they're like, wait.
you sold another jersey, you get a piece of Hubba Bubba. They're like, yes, I almost got a jar
Pizza
full.
party.
All right. Well, we're getting.
Hold on. When your boy won, I won MVP at Mike Socha's baseball camp, and they gave me a giant baseball size full of Hubba Bubba inside of it, and I thought it was genius. So I spent all this time unwrapping each one, so that way every time I go in to get one, boom, don't even have to unwrap it, just eat it. Then I won MVP the next year, boom, back-to-back MVPs. What about that, Smellwood?
Dallas Cowboys versus Arizona Cardinals. Cowboys lose 16-28. Honestly, it could have been and should have been worse than that. Cowboys finished with 416 total yards. Cardinals with 400. Cardinals only passed for 178, but they rushed for 222. They were at 180 yards rushing by like almost halftime. It was kind of fucking
Yeah,
absurd.
how
They
many
were averaging
yards did Dobbs have in the first half?
7.5 yards per play. Cowboys had 231 passing, 185 and 5.5. But I mean, this game didn't even look close. And I hate to say I told you so. Well, Dak threw the ball 40 times. That's not good for Dak. Pollard did run for 122 on 23 carries, had 0 touchdowns. Michael Gallup, leading receiver, 6 for 92. CeeDee Lamb, 4 for 53. That is not good. Ferguson actually caught the ball this time. But he was only 5
throughout
for
moments
48.
in the game, Cowboys offense actually had moments of positivity.
Dobbs was
I'll be honest.
What's that?
What?
Oh, Dobbs was 17 of 21 for 189 and 1 touchdown. And then they were
our defense let us down.
There was
that and all the penalties. 13 penalties.
Kazir White, former Eagle, was on the Eagles last year, got that last pick, so he's played a lot about Dak. This is what we saw in that game. I was saying, and I'm not sitting here saying the Cardinals are the worst. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They're in the bottom quartile of the league, but they play big physical football. Connors is a big physical running back, and we got to see a big physical team be physical with your defense and move them. They were moving people out of the way, and that's what I was saying. Your defense is fast, but your defense is not physical in the sense that they can go over there and overpower an offensive line that is built to overpower people. So the 49ers will be difficult. In a lot of ways, this defensive line, if everybody's not back on that offensive line for the Cowboys, the strength of this Patriots team is their defensive line and Judon on the end. Their defensive end, he's a monster. And he can make it super difficult, and then they'll just sit there and hand the ball off. That we saw a formula to expose that Cowboys defense and take Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence out of the game of play, to where they were basically invisible. And it's like you run straight at Micah Parsons. That's all they did. They just ran straight at him.
There was a lot of, what was it? Wilson, I forget what play. They hand the ball off. He is right there to make the tackle. And he does, it's like his body language and his movement is like he didn't even know a running back with the ball was standing right next to him. It was kind of like this spacey or an overcommit to a hole, and then they would I think even Parsons did it a couple times where he was just so committed to the sack, and then
I overcommitted to your mom's hole one time.
Yeah, we get it.
No, well, they were putting Micah Parsons in a choice where it's like, okay, either you're going to take off after the running back or you're going to come straight at the quarterback. And if you're coming straight at me, they were read optioning Micah Parsons. That's a way to neutralize him in the running game, is make him make a choice. And Dobbs is not some world beaten sprinter. And when he has 6 carries for 55 yards, that's a lot. Those are big pivotal plays, big field. Those are change of field position plays. Like if you're almost getting 10 fucking yards every time your quarterback runs it, 60 yards, that's 6 first downs. That's like whoop. And then there's other times where he handed it off.
There was any game plan for Dobbs being a mobile threat.
I think that I think they were surprised by how physical they were being played by the offensive line and on defense by them as well, where they were flying around and making plays, putting hands on people, and it made it difficult. Your offensive line being hurt definitely was a factor for your offense and their timing, but it's not like they still have Chandler Jones or any of these amazing defensive linemen on that team. And they got rid of one of their best pass rushers in Simmons. They sent him to New York. So that's just more like if you have people down or they're down for long periods of time, what do you think is going to happen if you go up against the Eagles' defensive line? Not to just name drop my team, but the leading defensive player for hurries on the quarterback right now is our rookie Jalen Carter. On 89 snaps,
the baby rhino.
He has 15 quarterback hurries on 89 rushes. The next closest person has 14 on 140 snaps, something like that. And that's what's his name? Los Angeles Rams.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald is behind Jalen Carter. Has almost double.
So it's like the youngest player in the league and the oldest player in the league.
So what I'm saying is like. If someone's going to be big and physical, especially with your defense, we learned more about your defense. Being down Diggs definitely hurts. That changes the whole structure of your defense and who plays where, and that doesn't help. Like you're going to have to commit that extra person in the box. Put Bland, Lewis, or Gilmore. Like, what do you think? Like, come on. Like, I mean, I'm not even being a dick. Who's going to cover Goddard, who's going to cover Devontae Smith, and then who's going to cover A.J. Brown? There's not enough people who can keep up with just those 3 weapons on that team, or Debo and Ayuk and Kittle.
Well, we played too much man, not enough zone, and like I said earlier, Diggs going out on a practice late Thursday, it kind of throws a wrench in the whole.
100%. 100%. That's why I'm not discounting that, but we saw that your run defense and your defense in general, with or without him, isn't as physical as it needs to be to compete with the way some teams are structured. Like your defense versus Miami, that's going to be a show, dude. People are going to be running around. It's going to be a fucking track race. Your defense versus San Francisco is going to be interesting because Debo's going to be coming. Kittle's going to be coming, and those dudes are going to not try to juke people out. They're going to try to run through all of these guys. They're going to try to run over somebody because your defense got exposed and not being able to stop that at times.
I don't know.
That doesn't mean they're not good.
I don't agree necessarily with the exposed. I just think, after I say this, we can even move on. But it's straight up, they came in asleep and got smacked right in the face. I mean, I felt that, like I said, right when the game started. It was just like, wow, okay.
If the Cowboys bounce back and beat the Patriots, and their defense plays well, I have more faith. But if their defense struggles against the Patriots and their offense looks like it has, which has been very inconsistent the past couple of weeks, in my opinion,
need improvement in the red zone by far.
Dak does not need to be throwing the ball 40 fucking times. That is a nightmare scenario for that team. If he's making 40 decisions a game, that's not what that team is structured to do. Because I mean, CeeDee Lamb's fast, but you can sit on him. Michael Gallup's still good, but Michael Gallup's not a world beater. Like, and you're going to go up against better corners and better safeties and better, faster linebackers and a bigger physical defensive line, not just within the division, but in our games that we play. I mean, we have the toughest schedule. The Cowboys have the 3rd toughest schedule right now. And the way the schedule is structured, we play Washington, we play the Jets, then we play Miami, then we play Washington, then we play you guys. We could potentially be 6-2 or something like that. In the way your schedule is structured, you guys got some tough games. Like, we've already played the Pats, got that out of the way. That's like a trap game. So we beat the Patriots opening day good. We've already played a Thursday. We've already played a Sunday game. We've already played a Monday game. So we're coming off of our short week this week with Washington, which is good to then get have some time to prepare for Miami. The Cowboys are in a tough spot. So we'll see. We'll learn more about them versus the Patriots. If they bounce back hard versus the Patriots, then I'm going to have to be like rethink and be like, okay, well, no, but if they struggle, it's going to be, especially the offense, it's going to be a wild ride. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not just being real.
No, my NyQuil's kicking in.
Raiders suck. Steelers won. Eagles beat the Bucks. Defense looked
Worst end of a game ever for my fantasy outcome. Stroud beats me. Only because the fucking Buccaneers couldn't run the ball in the end zone.
Eagles.
They had to pass it to Mike Evans.
The ball up until halfway through the fourth quarter in that touchdown drive that went like 78 yards. The Eagles defense had held the Bucks to under 100 yards for 3.5 quarters. And then
they were in control of that whole fucking game.
It was absurd.
It was
absurd.
Yeah, it was
there was a safety. Like, okay, he throws an interception on like kind of a floaty ball. That was a good throw, but that safety made a great play on that ball to Devontae Smith. Very next play, safety. He throws an interception earlier where him and Swift are not in communication. Intercepted, ran back a little bit. Very next play, Jalen Carter punched to the stomach, ball out, turnover. You were seeing that engine start to churn for this defense, and they were missing pieces. Getting Blankenship back helps. Then we also had Bradbury back. But Jalen Carter's a monster. Jordan Davis. I'm sorry, Jordan Davis is a monster. I mean, Riddick doesn't have a sack. He's invisible. Barnett's invisible. Sweat's been playing really good. But man, those two Georgia guys in the center are freaks. And they're rotating. So I think if they continue to increase Jalen Carter's workload, I mean, he's scary. That play where he ran back, that's a hustle play. Turns around, White stops, turns to make a move because he's trying to make a big play and can get a field goal or some sort of points. Just punch in the stomach. And then the ball pops out. And then you see after that when the ball's bouncing and Bradbury scoops it up, White tries to get up, and then Carter slams into him again and knocks him back down so he can't get up and make a tackle. Like, I mean, I hope he doesn't go to prison for being an idiot and street racing. I'm just saying. But, man, I mean, the Raiders could have used him. The Lions could use him. There's a lot of teams that could have used that dude who passed on him.
The Raiders, man, they had the kid who drunk driving and like killed people, Ruggs, was it?
Yeah, Ruggs. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so they couldn't like roll the dice on somebody like that.
PR nightmare. The Bears, he'd be better on the Bears right now, and he'd be getting more snaps. He'd be starting and getting more snaps for anybody. And it's just interesting to see Fletcher Cox looks good. I mean, this was kind of a trap game, so it's good to see them win this. The offense has a ways to go. But Zacchaeus coming back, catching that huge touchdown is big for the Eagles as well. He got hurt in the preseason. He was potentially out for like the first 6 games, and he comes back, has like 2 or 3 big catches that great touchdown pass. That's who we got rid of Pascal for. He's actually the starter over Quez Watkins, who's out anyways. So it was good to see him get a little shine. A.J. Brown played well. Devontae Smith was invisible. But you have to pick your poison. If you're gonna cover Devontae Smith, AJ Brown 1-on-1, that's a bad. Okay, that's fine. It's
But also that we kept talking about the conversation they had on the sidelines between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts last week, and then so now he's got him the ball, but whatever that means.
But I mean, they've been best friends since they were in high school.
Yeah, I know.
So
I don't
that's
know.
so that's where that's just I get it, but it's also like people
That's
normally.
what I'm just saying what the announcers kept saying.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and they know that anybody knows that sometimes you have the most passionate arguments with people you care about the most. So if they're not getting the ball, I mean, throw me the damn ball on some Keyshawn Johnson shit. And the Bucks, if they turn the ball over, they're bad. Baker's Baker. He all the 2-0. That's what I'm saying. Or who wins? Bucks Vikings. Now,
Bucks.
If they play again, Bucks. Yeah, actually they did win. Wasn't that the first game of the year? Because they were making Kirk Cousins chuck the ball around, and he throws a bad interception. because their run game's inconsistent. But the Bucks defense is great. The Bucks defense is still really good. They gave us some fits now and then, but the game got out of hand. They were gassed. Eagles were leaning on them.
Yeah. I was never like worried about it, even when it was like they went, it was like 3-3 in the second. I was like, this game is like it's in hand. Like
then,
they were like they were like running the clock like in the third. It seemed like, and it was like still kind of close.
Think about this. Think about all these thank you Detroit moments. Thank you for taking Gardner Johnson, who seems toxic and is constantly hurt right now. Thank you for letting us get DeAndre Swift for a bag of potato chips because he looks really fucking good right now. Like and thank you for passing on Jalen Carter. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like there's
shout out Detroit.
Yeah, shout out Detroit. Big
8 Mile, baby.
8
spaghetti,
Mile.
spaghetti, spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
You got your mom's throw up on you. I was mom's throw up on my.
Who
did the Lions take before Jalen Carter?
They took Gibbs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Was it Gibbs? I think because they had 2 first-round picks. I'm not.
Yeah, I know they drafted Gibbs like way higher than everybody had projected.
So getting Carter was huge, and you can see the impact he has. If you had Carter with Hutchison, that's a scary defensive line. That's an effort defensive line. So, in the last game of the week,
ours is scarier.
Rams Bengals. Joey Burr seemed to get it going. Jamar Chase looked okay. The Rams offense is wild, dude. They're just pulling receivers out of their ass. Like Matt Stafford's making everybody look good. But 16-19.
Puka Nakua.
They're 1-2. Bengals are 1-2. But he was 18-33, 2 picks. Burrow 26-49 for 259 and a pick. So I'm saying that's a lot of passes. Jamar Chase though 12 for 141, so he caught like basically half of all of his passes. Joe Mixon sighting actually ran the ball half decent.
Yeah, he looked good. I watched that game.
I don't necessarily. And then Puka had 5 for 72. So I think he's.
So is Cooper Kupp a system receiver? Is that what we're finding out now?
I wouldn't say that, but I would say that, yeah, McVay's got a good system and can make people look good.
Okay. I mean, Nakua's setting records for how many receptions, like,
Robert
to start
Woods,
off a season. I know Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and now you got Atwell and you got Nakua, and it's like they didn't miss anything.
Well, yeah, but then you see Woods and them leave, and they suck.
Cam Akers off, nothing. They don't miss nothing. Got Kyron Williams.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say Kyron Williams is as good of a pass catcher as Cam Akers. Cam Akers is a good multi-gadget guy.
Dude, you don't even know about Kyron Williams.
No, but I know about Cam Akers.
No, you don't know.
He's like a B tier. He's like a imposter DeAndre Swift. In like style, their styles are similar. I'd say he might be more powerful. He has more strength, but they're both good at catching the ball, good at running the ball, surprisingly good between the tackles.
I don't know. Him and Eckler always confuse me because they're both like the LA running backs out here.
Yeah.
I never pick them for my fantasy team, so I don't really keep up.
Well, that's games. Let's get into bets.
All right. Well, Mr. Goodies, good time bets. Woo!
New working title. I feel like you've had a couple.
Yeah, you know. Well, the Cowboys destroyed the NFC parlay that I had last week, and the Jaguars, getting housed by the Texans, destroyed the AFC. So, we haven't won any of the parlays so far this year. It's been 3 weeks. What did I decide to do? I said, why don't I just pick who the 4 best teams in the league are and just bet on them? So, let's see if this strategy works out. But I made it a little bit exotic. So week 4, Mr. Goodie's 4-team parlay, the 2 best teams in each conference on a 6-point teaser. Here we go. Dolphins going into Buffalo. They were underdogs by 2.5. 6-point teaser brings it up to 8.5. So They can still lose, but as long as they keep it within like a touchdown, we're good. With the Eagles at home, they're favored by 8. The 6-point brings it down by 2, so they just have to win by a field goal. Niners at home against the Cardinals, they're favored by full 2 touchdowns, 14. So this brings it down to just they have to beat the Cardinals by 8. And then the Chiefs on the road against the Jets. They're actually they're 9.5 favorites. So this brings it down to a field goal and a half. So that's Dolphins plus 8.5, Eagles -2, Niners -8, Chiefs -3.5 for a plus 245 teaser.
Okay, so you're going with all the safe bets.
Kind of. I mean, we're the points. We're taking the points, but we got the 6-point teaser on.
Yeah.
So it's not like the biggest. You're still getting 2.5 times on your money. We'll see if this will shake it up a little bit.
Is that?
I think the Cardinals are going to upset again.
No, he's a Cardinals fan. Listen to him. About to shave his eyebrows for his new favorite quarterback, Dobbs.
Oh, damn.
No, shout out Dobbs, man. I love Dobbs when he was on Tennessee. I don't think he got a fair shake whenever he was on the Steelers.
You know what's the best? The best is when Elway puts his bare foot next to the camera so that we can just look at his bare feet.
I was going to ask you how much feet pics were, bro. You got to hook me up.
Yeah, dude. Is this an OnlyFans or is this
Only feet.
the Angry Black Quarterback podcast?
Only feet. This is a new segment we're trying. Foot segment.
Yeah, damn. I just like threw up in my mouth.
I know, yeah. Let's hear your picks 2.0.
Yeah, so real quick, went 4-0 last week. Let's hear it. Come on. Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. Yes, sir. So that felt good after going 2-2 the last 2 weeks. So Giants and 49ers. The 49ers covered the -10 and the under 44.5 hit as well. The Bears team total under 17.5 hit against the Chiefs, and the Seahawks covered the 5.5 against the Panthers.
Very
A lot
nice.
of similar bets this week, or not really actually. Similar teams. So we're taking the Seahawks +1 at the Giants. I'm not really sure why the Seahawks are the underdogs here. The Giants.
What happened?
Now they look really fucking good. This is and then if you remember last year, the Giants were I think 6-1 or 6-0-1, something like that. They travel across to the Giants to go play the Seahawks, and the Seahawks absolutely demolished them.
But this is West Coast team going to East Coast, right? You said Seattle's flying into New York this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
So maybe that has to do with it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the 3
I still
points.
think the Seahawks are gonna demolish them.
I heard it used to be that home teams would automatically get a 3 points and on the spread, and then you go from there to figure out who's better. But then now they're saying home spreads are now they're only factoring in 1.5. So that's still enough. That's still enough to affect it to make the Seahawks seem like underdogs. And it's West Coast to East Coast, which is different.
Yeah, well, so they'll weight different home team advantages for different teams. Like the Seahawks have a much greater home field advantage than the Raiders, because the Raiders,
Chargers. Yeah.
So, Seahawks +1 at the Giants, taking the Chiefs -9.5 at the Jets. This is more so just a fade of the Jets. Zach Wilson looks awful. He looks horrible. Do you guys see Joe Namath go off this past weekend?
I've seen enough of him.
No.
I've seen enough. Fire Zach Wilson. If he's ever allowed to play quarterback again, you fire that head coach. You fire that GM. Just going off.
Who's the backup right now?
Joe Flacco's
No,
still
I think
there?
it's Mike White.
Oh, get Mike White in. He could deal.
Yeah, people are clamoring for Mike White right now.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't really, am not really worried about the Jets putting up any points, especially against the Chiefs defense that has only allowed 2 touchdowns in 3 weeks, and they were both garbage. They were both garbage time touchdowns. So then the Chiefs offense, dynamic as ever. What's new? I'm a Broncos fan. I deal with it twice a year, every fucking year, and we lose. Anyways, then I got a teaser, a little 3-team teaser here. Taking the Eagles from -8 to -2 against the Commanders. Taking the 49ers from -14 to -8 against the Cardinals. And the Cowboys from -6.5 to -0.5 point against the Patriots. So
You
we're
trust
just
these
betting on the
Cowboys? You
Cowboys to
trust the
win.
Cowboys, man? You had half of my teaser. You just got to keep the Cowboys out of it for your own sanity and safety.
It's called
Cowboys are
gambling.
going to
I'm
lose.
gonna have some fun. I'm
Cowboys
gonna
are
get
going to
plus
lose.
money
You heard
on
it here
this.
first.
He's
Um,
6-2 on the season.
Hey,
So he's just rolling the dice.
who you say would take over? Like if you went down, you said it was 2.0.
Well, yeah,
Oh God, here
that's
we
because we
go.
have
They
the
had to bring
same
it
name.
up. Oh, look at him. What a bitch.
Told you.
He just
Uh,
shares his bets and dips.
Yeah, now he's mad. I'll have to talk to him offline.
he needs to have a therapy session about it.
Well, Elward, are you about to pass out?
Probably.
All right, yeah, I think we wrap this up because I know you got to go to sleep too. You got a big boy job 2.0. But that's our picks.
Sir.
Picks are in 2.0, 6 and 2. Letting everybody know that the computer right now reigns supreme. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming back after the debacle earlier. This actually ended up being a decent show. So I appreciate y'all coming back, and I do apologize for the bullshit. Did you just fart, bro?
No, I'm popping my hip. Fucking.
Oh, Jesus.
Oof.
That's what you do
Yeah,
before.
no. I'm aching,
Get that
dude.
checked out.
Yeah. Well, no, well, I
It's been like
appreciate.
that since college.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Both you boys go get some sleep. I shall be doing the same, but I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for coming back.
Yes, sir.
Good luck this week. Hopefully both your teams rebound. I'll see you guys next time.
I hope if we can't beat
bro.
the Bears, I'm gonna be so upset.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
If you guys lose to the Bears, you're fucked.
It's gonna be a shit show next week on next week's episode.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Later.
Well, Angry Black Quarterback, episode number 28. We them L's. Cowboys lose. Go down hard. Apologize again for being late with the technical difficulties. I swear it's always something, but we do appreciate y'all being here, stopping by, checking us out. Like, follow, subscribe, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. What the fuck ever. Y'all be good. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Peace.